Hey folks, welcome to a new video. As you may know, in earlier videos I made alternate timeline World War II mechs, one Soviet and later on one German Tiger I tank. In this video, I'm making the third one in this series, the Japanese light mech. Here are some of the items I used or planned to use for this project. Not all of them I used, but showing the options I had could give you ideas. I'm not explaining what is what, so you can entertain yourself guessing what is each item. Ask away in the comments if you have any questions about them. But of course, cardboard cuts to build the majority of the mech and cut off specific sections for it. I started off with building the torso of this mech. I basically kept trying to find matching plastic pieces and glued parts kind of randomly to each other. I decided to use the plastic spoon as a canopy hatch from the start, so I measured its width and the platform I'm working on to cut a section from the cardboard to glue this unit on the front of the torso. I wanted to go for a look which this egg-shaped hatch is where the pilot of the mech gets into it. Fill the gaps and empty spots with necessary cardboard cuts. In order to bulk up the bottom of it, I cut more cardboard sections and glued them right under where I imagined the engine or mechanical parts would be. Working with cardboard lets me cover up whatever gap there is and help me bulk up the sections I'm working on. Compared to working only with scrap plastic bits and pieces, this is much easier and faster for me. Hence, lately all my mech builds are based around using cardboard cuts. In order to have a bit of a different perspective, I switched to adding the first part of the jet engine-like detail in the back. For this, I used this pillbox cap. Remove the whatever granules in it so that I may add details in there later. While waiting for its glue to dry, I went back on the front section and cut off the handle of the spoon and glued it as the hatch or the previously mentioned canopy section. At this point, it started to look like a spaceship instead of the torso of a mech. I even thought about switching the project into a spaceship, but decided to move on with my actual goal to build the mech. Use these engine details from the German tank crew kit I used in Tiger I mech project. I used a tile spacer, as well as some cords and hoses from the said kit set in order to increase the details on the backside. Went back on the engine's jet exhaust kinda unit, cut some cardboard strips and glued them inside the cap to make it look like it has some extra detail in there. Split a CA glue bottle cap in two pieces and inserted them in it as well to create further details. Adding plastic ring pieces from the bottles is always good texture in my creations, so added a fitting one around this unit. Before I was done with this, I cut off some zip ties long enough to cover the outer surface of this unit. Serrated texture of these bits really worked out with the rest. Once I was done with the back for the time being, I went back onto the front side and started adding a hinge detail for the hatch. In order to cover the front section, I cut off a cardboard in a somewhat fitting random shape and glued it there. In order for the hatch to look more like it belongs to a somewhat old-style fighting vehicle, I added a viewport. This also gives us the idea that pilot sits behind it. Added this plastic cap there to make it look a bit more interesting and as a platform to add more stopover. At this point, I started adding the leg joints. I might have gone for a circular or spherical shape other than the boxy one, but I didn't have the necessary plastic pieces to work as leg joints for this size. Next, I made the leg sections with cardboard cuts and glued them over the leg joints. Ended up having some visual hints about how this will look and what else is needed over the leg area. After that, I started covering the empty areas with more cardboard pieces. Also, at this point I added more pieces symmetrically to show some extra overall details. After enough mech builds, I got used to and learned how to deal with leg sections, but still have hard time making the feet. With this one, I ended up making hoof-like ones, which were quite weak and got broken a couple of times during the build. As for the next order of business, I started working on the arms assembly. I avoided the usual elbow joint details and they ended up looking a bit telescopic in the final result. That's a valuable lesson I learned, I suppose. As for the shoulders, I used a pair of plastic tube-like objects that fit perfectly with the roll-on Dio parts. This is the second time I'm using these pieces as shoulders. They are perfect in shape and design, but fail to hold glue or paint easily due to their soft plastic material type. Also, cut a pair of circles to fill the gaps on each one. Had even harder time to glue cardboard arms to the soft plastic shoulders with CA glue. Anyway, in order to make the shoulders wider, I glued Coke bottle caps on each side of the body, then glued the arms over them. At this point, it started to resemble ED-209 from Robocop movie, but I still needed to make the hands. For this, I started making hands that looked like a shovel, and worked my way up to make them look bulkier and more detailed. Originally, I planned to make this mech holding a giant rifle over its shoulder, but I made that exact posture in my yellow mech. Could have had him hold the rifle in a crossed arms pose, but since I never planned it from the beginning, I couldn't. The already glued hands wouldn't let me. So I kept on building the hands, adding details, relying on my backup posture of the mech, holding the rifle with its stock resting on the ground in a vertical position. Anyway, with the help of Q-tip plastic tubes, I added some hydraulic details on the arms. Using wire, I also added some cable detail coming from arms into the hands. Although I could have exaggerated this detail, the wire ended up looking too thin for the size of the mech. Using cocktail forks and plastic fork tips, I added extra detail on the upper arms. Used sprue cuts to add bar-like details on the sides. Added some random bits here and there wherever I saw an empty spot that bothered me. And then I drilled 4 holes for electrical wires to go in behind to decorate there further. I always loved some exposed wire or hose detail on my mech builds, even though it doesn't make much sense. Added zip ties and bottle cap plastic ring pieces around the shoulders. Use the tips of plastic copy stirrers to add detail over the top part of the mech. Added some extra details around the neck section as well. Then with pre-cut cardboard pieces I added extra armor or panel-like details on the legs. And more details on the top of the mech. I actually planned or wanted to make some sort of top protection plate that looks like a samurai hat. I even cut a wide conical piece and dry fitted it there. Kinda hated the idea and gave up from that. I wanted one of the shoulders to have the Japanese flag and the other one to have the Japanese sun. The flag was obviously easy, but the sun was more challenging. I had to get some help from baking soda, CA glue and Dremel sanding to have something that has depth, that doesn't look like a surface painted on. Scratch the surface here and there and try to create some bullet or round dents on the armor with my Dremel. Then I tackled the usual riveting work using small jewelry beads I have. After the mech, I started working on its weapon. I decided to make a rifle for it, used a chopstick to make the barrel, then utilized coffee stirrers, cocktail forks and such to build the rest. Once it started to take a rifle-like shape, I started adding other details randomly. I made a small box shape edition out of cardboard to act as the magazine of this. Since it's a Japanese mech, I found it fitting for this rifle to have a katana-like bayonet attached to it, so I started making one. After that, I made a pair of attaching points for the katana to hang underneath the rifle's barrel. This is the first time I made a rifle like this. I really like the way it ended up. I hope it's useful for you too. Okay, so where there's a weapon, there should be some ammo. So using skewer cuts, I made some bullets for this weapon. Their width is very close to the width of the barrel, so I was lucky. The amount of bullets I made brought out the need for some crates. So with the help of skewers again, I made some most basic rectangular crates. 3 to be precise, 2 closed and 1 half open, exposing the bullets in it. As for the paint, I first primed everything in grey as usual. Then with the watered down Vallejo rust I painted an undercoat. Someone back then suggested me to use a brownish paint to work as undercoat to make application of yellowish paints easier, so I tried it here. I can say it worked flawlessly. I will probably buy a brown primer for future use. Using Japanese uniform color, I applied the first coat of the paint all over this mech, excluding the backside. Then with khaki brown and Japanese uniform mixture, I brought up certain parts of this, like the added armor plates and panels. Using a somewhat random mixture of natural steel, rust and anthracite gray, I painted the back of it. Mostly the engine parts and such to make sure they look separated from the rest of the unit. While at it, I applied the same mixture here and there, especially over the hoses and such. I also painted some bits with bronze paint to have a bit of a differentiated paint job in the backside. I went back on the previous mixture and painted around the exhaust kind of detail. Logically speaking, it can't be an exhaust since the pilot sits right in front of it. Didn't think much of it during the build to be honest, but it is what it is at this point. Applied the same paint with different tones here and there. And then started painting the Japanese flag on the arms. Regular white for the base of it and red for the dot. For the other side, I tried to paint the sun as best as possible, but this didn't really turn out the way I imagined it would. With smoke color, I dabbed the sticking bits like bolts and rivets. While waiting for them to dry, I started working on the chipping and scratch details using black, natural steel and oil steel paints. After a while, I decided to paint the engine details in a steel red mixture for no real reason. It's always fun to play around with different color combinations. With black, natural steel and smoke paints, I made a filter-like solution and applied it all over the mech. Once I thought I was done with the paint, I applied the weathering pigments on and around the legs and sealed them with isopropyl alcohol. Then I realized that I forgot to apply dry brushing and worked on that while trying to be careful with the weathered spots. Certain sections and edges definitely needed dry brush highlighting. After I'm done with the mech, I prepared the only one figure for this build. To be honest, I couldn't find a Japanese tanker in the scale and had to use a Zvezda Russian tanker figure I had at hand. After priming the figure, I painted it with Japanese uniform color, obviously, and then worked my way with different tones of paint close to Japanese uniform color. For the base, I cut a round piece of plywood and 2 cm thick styrofoam, so this base is the same height with the other two in the series. To go on the base, I prepared wall plastered bricks, if you will. I usually keep these kind of candy packages to use as molds. Once they are dried, I glued each piece. I trimmed the ones on the sides for a more rounded look. I like the trimmable nature of wall plaster bricks, but it's a messy job. Right after that, I cleaned my desk and primed the base in black. Using my Bastard Revel black and white paints, I mixed various tones of grey and painted the entire thing over a couple of coats. Applied leftover dark grey wash to give it a dirtier look. Once it dried, I applied weathering powders. I might have overdone this, to be honest. Well, I'll let you decide on that. Before I was done with the base, I stuck felts right underneath it, both because it wouldn't scratch the surface it will sit on, and because the other two have these so it would be fully leveled with the other two. Next order of business was to paint the crates. I used natural wood grain and smoke colors for this. With bronze and deep yellow, I painted the most exciting bits, the bullets. Since I don't have brass or brass-like color, I tried to replicate that with mixing these two. Finally, to bind the bullets to the crate, I applied the diluted smoke paint all over them. I'd say they ended up looking really nice. After that, I painted the rifle. To be honest with you, I can't say I enjoyed painting this all that much. There simply wasn't much of a color choice other than wooden and steely colors. But considering this was a scratch build and my very first rifle, I think it ended up looking pretty good. Once everything dried and ready, I started putting it all on the base. I pegged the mech the usual way and placed it on where it's supposed to be. Next, I positioned the rifle and glued it in the sand. I made 2 spare parts looking like items off the camera and placed them by its feet to hide the gap right under its feet. Intentionally placed the bullet crate next to the rifle to create some sort of a relevancy between the two objects. Placed the 2 other crates behind it. Although I think this was too many objects for such a small diameter diorama base. With the last crate put in its place, I'm finally done with this build. Well, that's it for this video and this build. With this one complete, I end up finishing up the 3rd mech build of this series. Next will be either the British or the American. For British, I'm thinking about taking inspiration from a Churchill tank, and as for the American one, I'm torn between a Sherman or an M10 Hellcat inspired mech build. Let me know which one you feel like I should do next. Thanks for watching this, I hope you liked it and found it useful and hopefully took some inspiration from it. Take care and I'll see you all in the next one, bye bye.